Hello everyone. I'm going to do a quick little painting video here. I had some people ask a few times about how I get lines straight in painting, and so I carved a real quick gnome this morning, and it's already got some mineral oil on it. That's what I like to put on mine, just straight mineral oil. It's clean. It doesn't change the color of the wood. A lot of times I just leave the skin colors, the natural color. And that's about it. So primary colors I'm using today is I'm going to use this antique parchment. It's not a white. It's and then I have just a red, and then the burnt umber that I'm going to use for his mutton chops around each side here. And he's going to have a red hat, white little ball, and a white rim, a little fur rim around it. Very simple one, but this is just basically to show you techniques. Usually start out with a little tray like this. Half the time I work out of the center. I don't do too much in those unless it's going to be a color I know I'm going to be using solid. And I don't use my color solid. What I like to do is take a little bit of the paint. We're going to start with the red on the hat. Shake it up good. And I think everything's in the camera here. Okay. Put a couple little drops of red there. Don't take much, it goes quite a ways. And then using this size brush here, get it wet. Put some water on there. A lot of times I just take my fingers, dip my fingers in there, put a few drops in. You can get an eyedropper as well. And I pull some of this paint out. And the reason that it's so much easier to paint with watered down paints is the paint will run down into the little crevices and cracks. And that's another thing before we get started. I'm going to show you. When you make your carving, after you carve it, you can sand it up, whatever you want to do. But down in these little nooks and crannies, you want to get that cleaned out good. And what I like to use after I'm done carving is a dental brush like this. And I clean out all those little nooks and crannies. It gets those fuzzies out of there that you can't get out. You can get into a rabbit hole. You start getting down into these and you'll start getting all kinds of frayed material, and it just like it never ends. You make another cut, then it gets worse. So you just try to do that minimum. Make a deep cut first, and a lot of times it'll stop it from doing that. But anyways, I clean it up good with one of these. Then I put a coat of oil on it. Then in these nooks and crannies, I'll take my knife and I'll score it all the way around, all these little lines where I'm going from one color to the next. So like from the red hat down to here, I have a nice little line that goes right down through here that'll keep those colors separate. Same within the face and this dark brown that I'm going to put on here. So let's get going. So this watered down paint just kind of goes right down inside there. Oh, here's another little trick too to hold your paintings. You just take a screw, put it in as a handle of something, cut it off, and it's pretty easy to make. Although I did buy this one for $1 somewhere. I forget now. Carving show. So you just take that red paint and pull it up there, and it falls right in there. See how nice of a line it gets? That's all to scoring that with your knife, making that nice knife line with your knife. And as far as paints, watered down paints, I think they look nicer. They don't look so plasticky, I guess you might say. It gives it more of a folky looking folk art looking look, which I like. But you can see how easy it is to paint when you put those lines in there. It's just a good little tip. So we get this red on here, because I have this handle on here, I can get going on something else. And if you're not happy with the color, how deep a red it is or how dark it is, you can always add another coat too. And you'll see me, I'll go over a few times certain areas when the paint tries to absorb a little more. You never know what the wood's going to do. It's always different. End grains are always, they suck it up like a sponge. But I'm pretty happy with that color the way it looks right now. I think that's pretty good. A little spot right there. So, I don't have to clean up my brush. Okay. Don't need this no more. Clean that up. Okay. Now I think I'm gonna just try with that same brush and see how far I can get down in there with this brown. Don't need much of that either. Again, more water, a few more drops of paint in there. Water it down a little bit. Stir it up. Main thing when you're stirring this paint too is you want to get all them little the little, I don't know, clumps, if you want to call them, for whatever they're called. But you want to get sure that mixed up good, or they'll streak on you and make a mess out of your paint job. All right, mutton chops. So this kind of acts almost more like a stain at this point, which is fine by me. I like that. I like that look. And again, if it's not dark enough for you, you can always let it sit for a few minutes and go back over it. Sometimes by the time, like if I paint this, I'll paint the other side and then look at the first one I did and see how it turned out. It's kind of deep down there. Yeah, so this is a very, very simple paint job here. Very, very simple carving. Didn't take long to do it at all. I don't know if it makes sense. Mutton chops. See, I'm going to make that a little darker. I'm going to go over this one more time. Yeah, that's better. I like that better. Excuse me. Then this side, same thing. Like that. Over there. Okay, so we're done with the brown. Pick that up. Clean the brush out, get rid of that. Now, it depends on what I'm painting and how much of I'm using, but sometimes I will work with a couple different colors in the tray. So I can do touch-ups if I have to do touch-ups, because, you know, you can have an accident. There's no doubt about it. I'm pretty sure we'll probably have one before I'm done here. And now we're going to do the white. This is called antique parchment. It's not white, it's kind of an off-white. Don't need much of that either. Okay. Well, let's see. Start right here. So again, I scored all the way around the inside of that and around the outside of it. So it should just fall right down into place. And it helps to have decent brushes. This brush is getting kind of worn. It doesn't hold the tip very well anymore. I kind of got to look at it, see how it kind of curls. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a little curl to it, so you got to be careful where you're using that. We'll go around the inside first here. Having these little handles that you can screw in really help, because what happens is when you're handling your carving, you get paint on your finger, you don't realize it's on your finger, and then pretty soon you got paint where it's not supposed to be. And that gets frustrating, going over and over and over the same thing. All right. Hope everybody's having a good day. This is Sunday. And back to work tomorrow. Okay. I just follow that line, just get it close, and it'll drop right in there for you. I know a lot of people get shaky when they have to cut in stuff like this, but this really helps you if you do get a little shaky, because you can, you don't have to be exact, you can get close. And doing this on camera is a little different because I got to hold it different ways so it stays in camera, but there we go. And you always got to make sure you got enough paint on your brush, because if you don't, that's how you get accidents. That's how you make mistakes, because you're trying to spread paint that's not there and you end up making a mistake. All right, so get the little ball on the end of his little Santa hat. I don't know why he's wearing a Santa hat. He's not Santa, but he could be one of Santa's helpers, I guess. Well, hopefully this helps somebody. It's very simple. I know there's probably people going on, there's a better way of doing it, but maybe there is. I don't know, but that's the way I do it. All with one brush. That's good. You can do whatever you want to the back. I'm going to wood burn my name in it, and that's what I usually do. Or I have been lately, wood burning them. I've done lots of different ways. I've used a Dremel. So I'm just looking it over, make sure I got down and everything. Another little, just kind of go over the top of it one more time. Make sure it's got good coverage. Don't get in a hurry. That's a trick. Anyways, I think that about wraps it up. Pretty simple now. Well, you know what I will do? Nah, I'll wait because I'm going to do probably a wash on this, where I will take, I'll seal it after the paint dries. I'll seal it with any kind of clear. I like using, this is okay, this Rust-Oleum matte clear. It's got a little bit of sheen to it, but nothing like a satin or anything. I like the matte finish better. I'll just spray a little bit of that on there. Then I can make a wash out of either black paint, or sometimes I'll use this burnt umber. Water it down, put it all over the painting or the carving. Well, where I want it. I probably won't do too much on the face because I don't want the face to get changed too much. But I do want to get inside this mouth, and then on each side of the smile lines here, and in the little cracks. It just creates shadows and makes your carving look a lot nicer. Every time you create a new shadow, it enhances it. So anyway, that's it. I hope it helps somebody. You guys have a great day.